Hello everybody and welcome to this latest instalment in my very exciting ISEB pretest series, and this episode is on the verbal reasoning segment of the test. As in my other ISEB pretest videos, the resources for this lesson have very kindly been provided by Pretest Plus, and you can learn more about them if you follow the link in the video description. My live lessons are every Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the bell button. Let's get started. For this part of the test, you have 36 minutes to complete 36 questions. I explained how adaptive tests work when we were discussing the maths segment of this test. For now, the main thing to remember is that you need to be especially careful at the start of each section. The notes here don't tell us anything new, except that there's an example question at the start of each section of this test. And here's our first example question. So we can see that up is to vertical, forwards or down, as left is to, so you should already be thinking about what it might be. Up could be vertical because up describes a movement in a vertical plane, or it could relate to down because you have up and you have down, they are opposites. So we could have the plane that things move in, or we could have an opposite. So we've got left, so we might be thinking an opposite would be right, that's the one. Or we might be thinking that left moves in a horizontal plane. Goodness me, both of those options are here. So I think, with due deference to Pretest Plus, that this is a badly drawn question, because I could see up being to vertical as left is to horizontal, and I could also see up being to down as left is to right. And in fact, they want us to choose down and right. So there's a bit of a problem with this question, but thankfully it's only the example. Hot is to warm, so slightly less hot, or it could be to cold, an opposite, or it could be to boiling, the state that water enters when it is hot. As low is to slow down high. Well, hot is to cold, as low is to high. We've clearly got opposites here. It's important to think through some of the possibilities as you go through, and that will help you to spot the answer more quickly. Soft is to cough quiet fleece, so I'm immediately drawn to fleece. It's an example of a typically soft thing. As hard is to, is there a typically hard thing? Nails, yes. So that's a very, very likely answer. And when you find an answer that fits perfectly, although in your practice you should be considering all the possibilities, when you're really under time pressure like this, if you find an answer that fits really well and you're very confident with it and you've done enough practice to be able to judge when that's the case, you should probably be prepared to accept it and move on. Having said that, I have the time to waffle on like this, so maybe you do. But if you've got an answer that you're very secure in, just move on. It's okay, it's an exam. Speak is to speech, okay? So you speak, that's a verb, you give a speech, so it's the associated noun, or you speak, which is an example of speech. Let's see whether we can do that with sing. So sing, you sing, that is an example of song. And lo and behold, song is an option. So speak is to speech, as sing is to song. So we got to that one very easily. Friend is to ally, letter, penned. Okay, two things jump out at me here. A friend might be an ally, and friend rhymes with penned. Okay, freight is to ship, freight is to weight, so that's also a rhyme. So that's a very natural match. Friend is to penned as freight is to weight. But what about the ally thing? Friend is to ally. Is there anything that means pretty much the same as freight? Not really, but there is ship, which is a verb that would go with freight. So what do you do with freight? You ship it. What do you do with a friend? You ally with them, potentially, if there's an enemy you need to combine against. So that also to me looks like a potential answer. But it isn't quite the same, whereas the rhyming thing is a really, really clear similarity. So I'm going to go with friend is to pend as freight is to weight. But I'm not completely convinced by this question because I think friend is to ally, if you look at ally as a verb, is really similar to freight is to ship. It's the verb that's associated, or a verb that could be associated with that noun. But the rhyming probably fits slightly better. Axe is to, whoa, chop. Jumps out at me there. What do you do with an axe? You chop with it. A spade is to dig. So I think that's quite an easy one. That's clearly the answer. Celebration is to celebrity. Not that close a connection there. Celebration is to celebrate. Celebration is to celery. Not really. So to celebrate, that really seems to go with it. So you have a celebration, noun, you celebrate something. You have a meal, noun, you eat something. You dine on something. Okay, you have a meal, you dine. You have a celebration, you celebrate. Yeah, I think that fits really well. If you had celebration is to party, as meal is to supper, that would also be a possibility, but there's no party here. Celebration is to celebrate, as meal is to dine. Onwards. Auntie is to nephew, parent, uncle, as uncle is to niece, married relative. Well, there's an obvious crossover there. Auntie is to nephew, so the female relative to the male younger relative, and then we've got uncle, the male older relative, to niece, the female younger relative. So it's kind of a crossing over relationship. So I think that's almost certainly the answer. Auntie is to parent, as uncle is to, that also has to be to parent, because an aunt and uncle really have the same relationship to a person. They just, one is male and one is female. Auntie is to uncle, as uncle is to auntie isn't an option. It's clearly nephew and niece. So auntie is to nephew, as uncle is to niece. Onwards. Mask is to cover. To mask something is to cover it. As sever is to cut. Okay, so that's obviously the answer. We can go straight on. Butter is to fat bread cup, as cow is to slip milk grass. Well, one thing that I immediately notice here is that you put butter on bread and a cow might be on some grass. So we've got things that go on top of each other. So that's a potential answer. But you spread butter on the bread, whereas the cow just is on the grass. You probably aren't spreading the cow on the grass. So there's a kind of similar relationship, but it's also a bit different. Butter is to fat, butter is to bread, butter is to cup, buttercup. That's nice. Cow is to slip, cowslip. These are kinds of plant. A buttercup, a cowslip. So I think that's what's going on here. Quite a lot of general knowledge required there, because you might have very good English but still not happen to know the names of those plants. But sometimes these things come up. Let's just check the other possibilities. So butterfat, cowslip, butterfat, is that a word? I'm not sure. I think so, but it isn't a kind of flower, so buttercup is still the more natural parallel for cowslip. Butterbread, not really. Butter is to bread, as we've spoken about that cow being on the grass, not really. Butter is to fat, as cow is to milk. Well, butter has fat in it and the cow has milk in it, but it's not really the same kind of relationship. I'm comfortable with the options I've already chosen. We've got 27 minutes and 40 seconds left, so doing fine. This is an example here. So we need to find two words, one from each group, that together make one correctly spelled word. Right, this is just what we were doing with buttercup and cowslip, but now all these questions are like that. So here we have con and text, making the word context. Bear in mind with these questions, this is really important, that the words might change their sound when they become part of the new word. And I think you'll see some examples of this almost certainly. Okay? So we just have to try the options here. Just like this. Manpit, manfold, mankin. You can see what they're trying to lead you towards. Mannequin, for example, like a dummy in a shop with the clothes on. But this isn't mannequin, it's mankin, not a word. Carpet, carfold, hang on. Carpet, carpet, carpet. Okay, that's clearly an answer. Once you've found an answer and you're confident it's correctly spelled, you can move on. Din piece, din thing, din nor. That is not dinner. Din nor, no. Timepiece. Okay, you'll be itching to select time and piece because you know that means a watch, for example, but be careful because timepiece is a piece that gives you the time. It is a piece spelt P-I-E-C-E, not peace as in a lack of war. So it is not timepiece. Time nor, some piece, something, something. Okay, that must be the answer, something. Cup edge, cupache, cupboard, cupboard. Cupboard becomes cupboard. Remember what I said before? Words can really change their pronunciation when you combine them with other words, so look out for that. Toan, tohu, toin. Mayan, maihu, mayin. Mian, mean. Okay? So be really playful in the way you hear these sounds and test the different ways that you might say them, and you might spot combinations that wouldn't otherwise be obvious. Warpest, war try, war on. Tipest, tiptree, tipone. Panpest, pantry, panone. Hang on. Pantry, pantry. You know, a place where you put food items to keep them cool. A larder, the pantry. Onwards. Deter gain, detergent, detergent, of course. Dipgrin, dipar, diprent, pagrin, papa, parent, parent, of course it's parent. I think these are likely to be some of the simpler verbal reasoning questions for many people. You won't necessarily get this question type in the test. There are various kinds of reasoning problem that they might give you. But if these do come up, then they're a good opportunity to make up some time and give you a bit more time to use for other parts of the verbal reasoning section. Parent. Okay, this one. Oh, I see this was a little bit tricky because we've got pallor, which if you have a good vocabulary, you'll know means paleness. But spelling is a little bit different. First of all, in pallor there'd be two L's and usually there wouldn't be a U. It'd be P-A-L-L-O-R. Let's carry on. Palette, palette. Okay, that's more like it. P-A-L-L-E-T. That's clearly the right answer here. Let's just check the others quickly. Pallart, tendor. Again, very like tender, but not quite. Tendlet, tendart. Winner, winlet, winart. Ooh, lots of things that sound like they should be words there, even if they aren't. Came more, came rate, came past, clamour. Clamour, you might want it to be clamour, but not quite the right spelling. Clam rate, clam pass. Mode more, mode rate, mode pass. Any things we could spell differently? Well, mode, mod more, moderate. Okay? So if you don't get the answer, play with some different ways of pronouncing things and see whether something jumps out. Moderate or moderate, depending on whether you're giving it as a verb or as an adjective. Okay, next section. My scar took weeks to fade. Ah, yes, hidden words. Now, pay attention. A word of 4 letters is hidden at the end of one word and the beginning of the next. So it must overlap and it must be 4 letters long. So if you find a 3-letter or a 5-letter word, that is not the answer, even if it's there. If you find a word that doesn't overlap, that just ends one word or begins the next, but doesn't go across both of them, again, that cannot be the answer. Just do exactly what has been said. Okay? In this one, it is cart. My scar took has cart hidden in it. Now, there's a simple technique for these if you don't spot the answer immediately. So here we go from the left. Take the last 3 letters of the first word and the first letter of the next word. Then. Oh look, then. We found it already. So we can select that and move on. And we pocketed some spare time. Right, okay. Again, let's try the same thing. So T-E-R and M. Term. Again, we got it already. This is ridiculous. Okay, next one. T-H-E-E. The. There's another one, Thee. It's a little bit old-fashioned. Is that necessarily the word that they're looking for? Just to be sure, let's check the other options. So what we do, we take those three letters and the one after, the, the. Okay, then we take the last two letters of that word and the first two letters of the next. Heem, not a word. Then we take the last letter, E, and the first three of the next. Emp. Eemp? No. Then we do the same thing in the next gap. Ptys, then tyst, taste, and we try saying each word, and we have Easter, okay, getting the pattern now. Iumwa, umwa, mwas, wazu, azun, sunu. In the test, there'll be other people in the room. You have to do this silently to yourself, but you'll get into the habit of doing it really quickly. Lis, lisi, isil. Okay, the only possibility is the, which we've already found. Next one. Erit, rito, etop. I sound bonkers. Upsa, psar, sar. Well, it really looks like it should be a word, but don't think it is. Aref, refa, efas. Probably in some language. Blet, leth, ethi. Hiss, hiss, H-I-S-S. That's the one. So it's this summer that we need to choose. Next, okay. Thep, hepu, epop. Ilsa, lsad, sado. Red, ed, the, I can't even pronounce those. Aearn, irne, new. Right, it's probably going to be the last one. Newt, and indeed. Okay, hope you know what a newt is. I was obsessed with catching newts and keeping them when I was a small child. Only legally. Elim, Liem, Iema, Emad. So you see how quickly you can do this when you get into it. Adir, Dean. Dean. So it's Maidan. Thiu, Hion, Iona. Blep, Lepel, Epla. Answer, Nswer, Swear. Ereu, Rion, Iona. Slyer, Liar. Okay. This is a little bit of a general knowledge one because the word lyre is quite obscure. It's a kind of harp. Okay? Think of Orpheus and his lyre, perhaps, if you have a bit of classical knowledge. The band, Theb, Heba, Eban, and got, goat, not spelled like that. Otev, Teve, wand, Neda, Edan, Inge, Ungen, gent, gent. Okay? Now, I'm being a bit silly in the way I'm saying these, but if you're playful in the way you hear the sounds, you may spot things that otherwise would pass you by. Idea, idea. I have an idea. Okay, next. In this question, the three words in the second group should go together in the same way as the three in the first group. Oh, okay, these ones. Right. So, you're going to need your paper for this. Now, for these, there is a technique. So, look at the first ones here. Pit, bit, dab. And you might look at that and think, what on earth is going on? If you're systematic, these actually become rather easy. So you can see that we have got two three-letter words surrounding a three-letter word in the middle. And we need to find the three-letter word that belongs in the second gap, which is blank and just has a question mark. Let's look at the first set of words first of all, and look at the middle word. So the first letter of the middle word is B, and that comes from the last letter of the second word. In other words, we can say that the B at the beginning of bit comes from point 6, the sixth letter in the words around it. And I'm taking notes as I go. The I in bit comes from pit. It comes from the second place, P-I. So that's from place 2. And the T comes from the third place, P-I-T. So that's from place 3. Now we look at the second set of words. So which letter is in point 6? F-A-R-S-U-E. Which letter is in point 2? F-A. Which letter is in point 3? F-A-R. So the word we're looking for is ear. And now we go through the options and we can see that there is indeed the option ear. So we've found that and we can move on. B comes from the third place, R-I-B. A from bar comes from the fifth place, R-I-B-S-A. And R from the start of rib comes from place 1. Now we look at the second set of words. What's in place 3? T, E-A-T. What's in place 5? E-A-T-S-H. And what's in place 1? E. So we're looking for the word the, and that is indeed an option. Onwards. R is in place 2. O is in place 5 or place 6. And T is in place 4. Looking at the second lot of words, place 2 is T, place 5 is I, and place 6 is G, and place 4 is P. So we're looking for tip or tgb. I think we can tell which word it's likely to be. We're looking for the word tip. M is from place 6, A is from place 4, and R is from place 2. Second set of words, place 6 is L, place 4 is I, and place 2 is D, lid, and that's an option. Okay, we've got 2 4-letter words here, so now we're dealing with 8 places. W comes from place 8, E comes from place 4 or place 7, and T comes from place 1. Looking at the second set of words, place 8 is P, place 4 is P, and place 7 is A, and place 1 is Y. It's going to be pay, isn't it? And that's an option. Once again, we've got 8 places here. N comes from place 3 or place 7. I comes from place 6. And B comes from place 1. Looking at the second set of words, place 3 is F, place 7 is R, place 6 is O, and place 1 is D. So it's FOD or rod. There we are. M comes from place 5. E comes from place 2 or 3. N comes from place 7. And D comes from place 4. Second set of words, 5 is C, 2 and 3 are U and L, 7 is A, and, oops, I wrote down D when what I meant to write was 4. Place 4 in the second set of words is P, so kuap or clap. T comes from place 4 or place 8. O comes from place 2. And N comes from place 7. Second set of words, place 4 is M, place 8 is A, place 2 is R, and place 7 is E, mr or R. There we are. T comes from place 8. O comes from place 2. N comes from place 3 or place 6. And G comes from place 4 or place 5. Okay, place 8. Oops, this is a bit hidden here. Okay, place 8 is T. Place 2 is I. Place 3 is S, and place 6 is P. Place 4 is P, and place 5 is S. So tips is looking likely here. Do we have that? Yes, we do. Now we've got 2 5-letter words. Okay, so S is place 3. T is place 4 and also place 6. I is place 9 and R is place 7. Second set of words, place 3 is T, place 4 is I and place 6 is H, place 9 is N and place 7 is Y. It's going to be tiny, isn't it? And there we are, another perfect score. Anybody would think I'd cheated. If that was useful, there's a link to the next part of the test on non-verbal reasoning right here. Don't forget to explore PreTest Plus's resources. There's a link in the video description, along with lots of other links to things that you might find useful. I hope to see you for the next part of this video course. Bye-bye.